Hey everybody, it's Wednesday. It's about almost lunchtime here as I record this. This is your weather update from Chief Meteorologist Brad Panovich. As we look ahead to the weekend, the temperatures are changing, the cold air is moving in. People's all getting excited for some winter weather, but I'm going to tell you, if you're in the Charlotte area, please do not think that you're going to see accumulating snows. It just doesn't look likely, and I'll get into that more. This is looking more and more like this is going to be a mountain only, possibly foothills in northwest Piedmont. And I do think we could see snow in the Charlotte area, but I don't think it's going to accumulate. Now, I'll tell you why. We'll get right into the details here. The one thing you notice overnight, the cold air has really moved into the region. Temperatures today actually got up to 50. We've been hovering there for the morning, but it's actually one of those weird days where the temperature is likely going to fall as we go through the afternoon. Really cold air moving into the southeast. Great news for skiers. We're likely going to see some northwest flow snow developing tonight and tomorrow in the whole spine of the Appalachian. So really good news. This is going to recharge the ski slopes, not only with natural snow, but the cold air moving in, which is going to help the snowmakers crank up the snow guns. Now, what's going to happen here over the next couple of days, big sprawling area of high pressure has moved out of Canada. You can see it moving down the middle of the country. This is really cold air for this time of year. Our main low is moving out of Canada. Boy, they're getting clobbered. On the backside, that helps reinforce some of the cold air. So as we go through tonight and tomorrow, not much going on, just cold, temperatures in the 20s. Get the winter gear back out because we're back to January weather. You could see our system developing coming into West Texas right now. And the thing we've noticed in the last couple of days, and really it's been a trend, if you've been watching my vlogs, you've noticed the low is forming really far north. It's up in this area, not down in here. Typically a track like this is more of a snow track for the Carolinas. When they form in here, it's more of a wintry mess or mix. And in this case, it's primarily going to be rain. Now, there is cold air in place. Now, honestly, the cold air is a pretty good setup for the cold air. The problem is the low track is the problem in this setup. So, man, if we had the same high pressure here and this low down here, that would be ideal. But unfortunately, it looks like the low is up in this region, and it's just not the perfect setup for snow. It doesn't mean the mountains aren't going to get some good snow, but I'll show you how things unfold here. I'm going to turn off the isobars here just so it's a little bit easier to see. And again, this is just a kind of an illustration. Don't get too specific about, ooh, there's the rain snow line. This is the general idea. So we're going into essentially what this is going to amount to Saturday afternoon. We'll go to Saturday morning. I'll stop this at around 7 to 8 a.m. Now, a lot of this isn't going to be reaching the ground. This is probably not going to be snow in Charlotte, but in the mountains, we'll start to see snowfall sometime on Saturdays. We go through the day, you can see the moisture increases, but notice how this is primarily north of Charlotte. Now, this is what I mean by don't be specific. The better chance is going to be up in here. This is likely not going to be reaching the ground. If it is, it's going to be light and probably mixed with rain, and temperatures around 40 degrees, so it's not sticking if it's falling there. As we go through the day and the night, you notice that snow line kind of shifts north, and then we get into Saturday night. This is where the prime time is. Couple things happen here. This is when the coldest air is in place at night, and this is also when the moisture moves in. So you can see our low forming back here. I'm going to turn the isobars on again, just so you can see where the isobars are. You know, the low is way up here. This needs to be down in New Orleans for us to get a better chance of snow. So you're seeing the snow showers and threat way up in this region, whereas we want it down in this region. So when we talk about storm track, this is a snow track. This track is a rain track typically. So just to break it down for you, the track is not ideal for snow here. So don't get caught up in people trying to hype this into a snow event for Charlotte. The track right now is not favorable for that. Could it change? Yes, today is Wednesday, but we've had a consistent trend with this track going north. Hasn't been trending south, it's been trending north. Now that could flip, but when you see 3, 4, 5 runs in a row where it's trending north, and that means warmer and wetter. So you could see going through Saturday night, Charlotte looks like a cold rain. The pink is likely an ice rain mix with some snow. And the primary snow is up there in the mountains and foothills. We'll go towards Sunday morning. This is when the heavy rain moves in, but this is also when we also start to see the warmest air. So the warm air is surging up at the same time, the heaviest moisture. So this will likely be a cold, miserable rain. And even here where it was snow is likely going to change back to rain at some point on Sunday morning. So even in the mountains, we could see a change back to rain. But there likely will be an area right there on the eastern facing slopes where this holds on to snow. And this is the area that could get absolutely clobbered. If there's going to be some high-end totals, it's going to be on those eastern-facing slopes, and maybe areas like Beach, Sugar, Grandfather, Mount Mitchell. They could get clobbered, but most of these areas in the Piedmont This is looking like a pretty much a cold rain. Now, what's interesting is going into Sunday, things clear out, but Sunday into Monday, this little upper level system moves through, and we might see a better chance of flurries on the backside of the system as it swings through and then moves off the coast. You can see the low cranking off to the east. Now, amazingly, the European model's been doing a pretty consistent job, and the GFS has had some issues, but because of the government shutdown, it's had some issues. So I'm not reading too much into it, but they actually are somewhat in agreement on the timing and kind of the overall setup here, and they're all trending in the same direction. And just to show you as far as amounts, I'm not going to get caught up in mounts right now, but to give you a general idea, you can see this one guidance shows where the heaviest snowfall is setting up, and it's primarily in the mountains here, up into Southwest Virginia. Not a whole lot, if anything, here in the Charlotte area. Mount Mitchell, Grandfather Mountain, Sugar Mountain, Beach Mountain, then heading up towards Mount Rogers. So you kind of get an idea on the setup here. And so as I look at the snowfall chances, the chances for accumulating snow, I've updated the mountains here. I think we are in a good now 50 to 60, 70% range up here in the mountains. And I do think this might go up even to 70 to 90% at some point. But this is where I'm most confident in accumulating snow. A little bit less confident here. And then this is where you're kind of fantasy land, where it could snow. And I do think we'll see flakes, but accumulation is very unlikely. So when you look at the snow meter for the Charlotte area, it's about a 2 in the mountains. I would put us up in, if I were to put this in the mountains, probably in the 6 to 7 inch range right now. So this is going to be a pretty good setup for the mountains. But for Charlotte, this is going to be a lot of chatter. And the reason I say that is people will be talking about it, and at some point, I could absolutely see snowflakes falling in Charlotte on Saturday at some point. But it's going to be one of those things, unless you take video or pictures of it, it's going to change to rain pretty quickly, and accumulation is pretty much close to zero. I would say a trace if we're lucky at all. This is where we're looking at some snow totals. So honestly, not a lot of change in the overall thinking. The only thing is that we're getting closer to the event, so the confidence in the setup is right there where we're going to see the highest potential for snow. And if I go back to this map here for a second, I'm going to stop this, and you can kind of see that the area that we're looking at right there, from Boone down to Marion, Lenoir, and Hickory, Statesville, probably a mix in here, but as you get close to Charlotte, that's just a good old-fashioned rain. So that's kind of my thinking right now as of Wednesday noon. Of course, I'll be posting updates over the next couple of days. Likely tomorrow will be our first accumulation map. If I feel confident enough, I'll probably start putting some accumulations out. But if you're in the mountains, in the adjacent foothills, and I'm talking Avery, Ash, Watauga, Mitchell County, Upper Burke, Upper Caldwell, even Wilkes County, maybe even down into Catawba County, there's going to be some areas in there that could get a burst of snow. That's the area we're talking about, north of Interstate 40. And just to kind of reiterate that area, this is the area I'm talking about. This is going to be the sweet spot for snow right in here. That's our sweet spot for snow coming up this weekend. And again, the timing is mainly Saturday, late in the day, into Saturday night, into Sunday morning. Hope that helps, and I'll give you an update coming up tonight and as well as we go into your Thursday.